Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, all I'm hearing is Stump, I don't have Zoro Sanji. Stump, my Zoro Sanji Super Tandem is only level 1. Stump, what's a replacement for Zoro and Sanji? So in today's video, we're not using Zoro Sanji. We are diving into the 15-star Super Boss event against MORIA with no Zoro Sanji. I get it. Zoro Sanji is a prime unit on pretty much every single big damage team because they provide so much damage. Like, they're an amazing damage dealing unit. They have great super tandem, chain shenanigans. Like, they do so much for the team. Like, so much. And then that ability to turn everyone into free spirit slashes. It's really, really strong. So, as mentioned, we aren't using Zoro Sanji in today's video. Taking on the quick variation first, I am using a Nami friend captain, and I tried not to use Nami or any of the memory of the Straw Hat units, but Nami just kind of works the best for this particular variation, mainly because she gets around the special one on turn 2. It's an exceptional ability. You can use her super type, I believe, to extend the chain boundary, and then you can get her special off once again on the final stage, just to give yourself a few more tandem orbs. The team consists of Super Tandem Zoro, instead of Super Tandem Zoro and Sanji, and then we have the anniversary Super Sugos of Ace, Luffy, 6+ Law, and Yamato. And with this, as you guys saw, Nami took care of stage 2, and on the final stage, we can take care of all the nasty stuff with the array of these units. Now, with this particular team, you do want to use Zoro special first. Zoro is actually going to give you a full lot of tandem orbs, namely keeping a tandem orb on your Yamato. It also gives you a 3.25 times attack boost to your slasher characters. Now, this is really only going to affect Yamato rather than affecting Nami, Law, and Yamato. But most of your damage is going to be funneled into that final tap. So I figured using Zoro over using something like Law was the actual play. Yamato, if you don't have her final tap maxed, don't stress, you should still have it with 3 units rather than 2. Obviously, your damage number is just going to look a little bit different to mine. Plus, if you have different rush levels and different super tandem levels, like, that's all going to be very different, but the team should still operate the same way. If you have a tandem orb on Yamato with Law, he's going to give you a super type buff. He's also going to apply increased damage taken. You can then use your Yamato to increase the increased damage taken. You want to use, what's his name? You want to use, or actually no, you can't, because you don't actually have the color affinity itself, but Yamato's going to increase her own color affinity as well, and then you can use Ace for the conditional booster, you can use Luffy for base stats, and then finish it off with Nami once again, so that way you just get a full board of tandem orbs, and the EX is just going to apply more damage with the resistance down and all that fun stuff. With this, you guys are going to have a 2.25 increased damage taken. You have a whole bunch of resistances with stuff like VV, with stuff like Yamato. Ace is giving you a conditional buff against burn. You have a 3.25 times, or actually no, Ace is the orb booster for the team. He's a 4 times orb booster. Luffy is going to give you 2,000 base stats. You have a 3.25 attack boost with Zoro. You have a 2.25 conditional against increased damage taken with Zoro, as well as a chain boundary, as well as the super type buff and the that's what pretty much all it does. But with the team as well, you have Super Tandem, Final Tap, and Rush. So you are doing quite a bit of damage, which is very, very nice to see. Nami also gives extra Final Tap shenanigans. Look, she's not the best unit to use for this, but look, I had to basically bring something to help with Stage 2. I guess if you don't have your own Ace Rush level 5, you can replace Nami with like Nami Carrot on your team, and then just not have a chain boundary on the final stage. That'll also work fine, but I digress. As for tap timing, you want to start with Ace, so that way you activate his Rush, move into Luffy, and then into Zoro, so that way you get activate the Super Tandem when you tap with Nami. Then you can move into Law and finish with the final tap of Yamato. You do delay MORIA, so I'm not 100% sure if you have to deal with the second turn or what that looks like, but I wasn't expecting to do this much damage, but mine is obviously level 5 final tap with level 5 Super Tandem and level 5 Rush. Clocking out at around 600 billion damage, I believe. So, nowhere near as good as like the trillion damage you'll see with Zoro Sanji teams. But look, if you don't have the option of Zoro Sanji, then this should work. Moving on to the Int fight now, and unfortunately, you don't exactly have the luxury of the crazy final tap of Yamato and all of that fun stuff. Plus, there is action bind on this particular variation, and unless you're using, like, Toki or Brook, you're going to be in for a rough time. Now, we have put together a team that does 1 trillion damage. I will put out a shorts for that a little bit later tonight, I believe. I'll probably just showcase the end of it, as it was kind of built by my alliance member, and he doesn't really like me doing the full runs. But look, that's a story for another day. But this particular team was inspired by my other alliance member, Itachi. He did put up a run on his channel. I'm going to leave a link to his channel down below. Go check him out. Puts up a lot of really good content. If you guys are looking for alternative teams for more of a Dolphin style account. But he put up a team with Roger as captain. And I looked at it and I went, it was basically this team, just use Roger as captain. I looked at it and I said, we can make that a little bit better with Roger and Odin. Why are you not using Roger and Odin? And the big issue was the Wano Orbs. Roger and Odin give a whole bunch of Wano Orbs. So if you use their EX on turn 1, and then use the Uta special to get the turn progression buff, not only will you get rid of the special bind with that turn progression buff, but you'll also have the ability to remove the Wano Orbs. Utilize your bottom row Shanks on this particular turn as well, because your bottom row characters are the characters that actually get that action bind, and it's just very annoying. It means the bottom row characters will literally do no damage. As you guys saw on turn 1, I used the EX. We did over the threshold of damage we needed for Roger and Odin, and we can use their special to get a 3-turn orb buff. We have the carryover of the attack boost thanks to Uta, and the carryover of the conditional buff against delay, which works out perfectly because Luffy's actually going to give a guaranteed delay. On top of this, Roger and Odin are going to remove positive effects, so that way you don't have to worry about losing all your buffs. With that, you can carry in an attack buff, a conditional boost, an orb boost, and a color affinity into the final stage. That's going to avoid the intimidation, the interrupt, all that nasty stuff. Plus, then you can start doing the rest of your specials to just sort of build up your damage. We have Luffy here to give us base stats. He also has the Brook support for some chain shenanigans. Ace is going to remove the damage nullification. Unfortunately, Ace isn't going to do anything else for the team, but at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal, because without Zoro Sanji, all he can really do is a conditional buff, and Uta's already given us that, so it is what it is. We need Uta, we need Luffy, so that way we get access to the EX of Shanks, and then the 2 Shankses are going to trigger Roger and Odin, so that works out really nicely too. The thing with this team too, is you have access to like so many rush abilities, that you have to make sure you tap with Roger and Odin first. Make sure you tap with Roger and Odin, that way you don't activate a rush ability until Shanks. Bring a level 5 Shanks and you should be fine. You do have to be careful though, sometimes you will get very, very unlucky and get a Wano Orb on one of your Shankses, but look, at the end of the day, you got no Zoro Sanji, like this is the best you're probably going to do when you're taking on the Int fight. Now, I actually missed that final shot, clocked out around 153 billion damage, so that final shot should have obviously clocked a lot more, should be doing over around 200 billion, but like I said, without Zoro Sanji, you are going to lose a lot of numbers. But that's going to wrap up the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to bell the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, if you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.